Gunning seems kind of new. Seriously, this really wasn't a thing 20 years ago. People have always pleasured themselves and young men have always often had a group dynamic to it, especially when it's something you need to hide and need, material for. But the technology makes it much more accessible, and social norms make it much more acceptable. This idea of filming yourself jerking off 4 hours on end is kind of a new thing. I have no doubt that the public discussion of extreme masturbation has made it seem more prevalent than it actually is, and it remains an extreme as eating and water sports. I'm sure every generation did it, but when Ali Wong walked out on stage and said, "If you don't eat all, you need to grow up," that was the moment it hit mainstream. It was okay to joke about it and talk about it, and of course, that made it more acceptable to try it. The water sports thing might be a Reddit thing, honestly, but 10 years ago, I was not seeing women pissing themselves on my Pornhub front page, and I go in incognito mode. So that's just a general thing now, like step-siblings, ass eating, and water sports, and you don't need to search for it. 20 years ago, you didn't even talk about that stuff. If you wanted to fuck your stepsister, or ever ate ass, or got a golden shower, you kept el poliamor in 2006. Seguro laverin como, algo desagradable como, una excusa para ser infiel pero la verdad no es yo tengo. Una amiga poliamorosa y savy my feliz, y que ela le gusta, eso mientras a mí me gusta mis las relations comunes la mentalidad, cambian las pacas y decker que algo est mal solo, por quien tu pacanazas no significa que si malo ejemplo cuando lego el enemy, a latino america tommy dica, que gaku. I'm actually extremely shocked at how normalized squirting has become. Obviously, it's a natural body function, so it's always been a thing. However, I literally can't open Pornhub anymore without every video that includes a woman saying something about squirting. Like, bro, why it makes men think women like me, who didn't do that, are broken when my body just doesn't work that way. And the worst is, now they think if I say I need to stop to pee, it means I'm about to squirt. No, bro, I'm gonna piss real urine. If I'm a bi guy, finding good bisexual MF porn 20 years ago was insanely difficult. It wasn't non-existent, but it was rare as fuck. Now there is so much of it. Crazy too, me, but in the best way. Hope the world is realizing and accepting that bisexual men do in fact exist. It's not about acts, but about the spread of it. The access to information, the acceptability of those acts in your circles has dramatically changed due to social media. Very few things have been ruled out, and far too many things have become acceptable primarily cause a lot of people do it. In 2006, a woman who gave oral was seen as a chicken head or largely looked down upon. Now, it seems way more accepted as just part of sex. Pussy licking, arse licking, anal sex, cum eating, white and black kiss. They all were considered filthy, vulgar, anti-hygienic, disgusting. Now they are like going out for an ice cream maybe in 1956, but definitely was not seen like that in the early 2000s. Maybe in 1956, but definitely was not seen like that in the early 2000s. From my observation on FetLife, gangbangs and water sports piss play have become very popular over the past 10 years. Gangbangs feel like they are maturing into normality as the experience and knowledge base about how to organize them increases. I didn't read the title properly. Specifically the part about sexual act. Imagine my confusion when I see the comments. I don't know if it is very acceptable now, but I would say scissoring 20 years ago in 2006, it was barely known to everybody. Like, people would say, what is that? Is that really a thing? The funny thing is it became more known to people 1 year later in 2007, when South Park made that one episode about Mr. Garrison becoming a lesbian and did that scissoring, till I hung out in very different circles than the rest of you back in 2006. So many things here are making me realize just how tame most people are. Or how not tame I am. 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I do think it's so much the acts themselves, but rather the openness and acceptance. What happens in the bedroom should generally stay in the bedroom. Stealing lemons, it was just not allowed back in 2006. Nowadays, well, let's just say there are a lot of lemon stealers out there. Edit, damn, I was just guessing, but lemon stealing whores did actually come out in 2006. Eating ass, clearly. Like, one person is face down, ass up, and the other is all the way there, loving life, eating ass. Eating ass. It's a thing now for everyone. It's on the menu in a way it never was 20 years ago. Ass eating is the answer. And the answer is eating ass. Questions. There should be none. Going ass to mouth, you never go ass to mouth. I don't care what anyone says, I liked Clerks 2 lol. You never go ass to mouth. I don't care what anyone says, I liked Clerks 2 lol. People seem more accepting of outright admission to casual recreational sex. Feels like people used to hedge a little bit more and pretend that they were only going to do that sort of thing within a certain sort of romance, even though people hooked up all the time anyway. We're in a post-Hochua world. You really have to work at pushing the limits, outside of involving children and animals. And anymore I have my doubts about children, as 30% of the population seems perfectly fine with that. Why you are going 20 years ago. A lot of things changed from 2016, not from 2006. It is happening rapidly. Keyword is seen, transparency is the only thing that changed. Even in the 90s, girls wouldn't admit to fellatio in public and said they would only do that to their husbands. Now they write songs about it and record themselves doing it to post online. Not that they are acceptable by any means, but at the gay community I have seen a rise in scat and piss play, and people openly asking for those on the apps. And 20 years ago, that would be unthinkable. 20 years of online porn really desensitized a lot of people to the extremes. We were dating other people in 2006, so sex acts between my wife and me would have been very unacceptable back then but are fine in 2026. Pedophiles were universally hated in 2006. In 2024, nearly half of Americans' voting population voted for a pedophile president. They put the fox in charge of the henhouse. The whole world is suffering because of it. Having sex with someone born in 2006, wait till more releases of the Epstein list. Fun fact, they're 20 now. Wait till more releases of the Epstein list. Fun fact, they're 20 now. Related things are much more widely accepted. Kingwise, latex was a pretty niche thing 20 years ago, but now it's way more common. Pop stars and cosplayers wearing it have definitely put it in the mainstream. Like you almost trip over good latex content online these days. Not a sexual act, but in 2006, wearing a string bikini bottom on the beach was very rare and considered quite immodest in. Now it's very acceptable. Lol, what? No, it wasn't. It's hard to enjoy a beach day with the family these days. They were definitely not normal around the Midwest until this past decade. Lol, what? No, it was. Having sex with me is acceptable now. You would have landed up in prison back in 2006. People are just as sexually versatile as we've always been. It's just that people used to hide it from the public eye so they wouldn't be condemned for it by the haters. Now the haters are the ones hiding from the rest of us, so they wouldn't be condemned. I was 11 in 2006, so I'm not at all aware how things were. However, as an adult I have been part of poly communities, which I'm sure have always existed, but presume weren't as thriving as they are today. Where I moved to, there's a bunch of nudist colonies near I doubt existed back then. Just read some of the laws in the past and realized that laws are made when a lot of people are doing something that general society thinks is not great. La comunicación real sobre lo que queers y lo que no. En 2006, Peter lo que te gustaba era que si mistab que electo ns. El cambio mis grande no ha sido lo que hacemos sino, que ahora podemos hablarlo sin vergüenza. 2006, I put my hand gently on top of a girl's head during a blowjob, and the next day got a lecture on respecting women from 3 of her friends. The other day a girl told me not to face fuck her too hard, unless I was okay with her vomiting, she was okay with it. A man eating a woman out. Sure, there's still some guys that say they'd never do it 'cause they're selfish, but it's a lot more common and I'm glad. The idea that in 2006 people hated anal is ridiculous. Lol, people liked anal in 2006, I was there. Double teaming and being made airtight was very fashionable in the mid-noughties. I've heard that back then, guys in a submissive position were frowned upon. The idea that in 2006, people